We still want you, don't
What are your biggest takeaways from that scrimmage?
A lot of really good players. A lot of really good players on their way to the organization, so it's encouraging. You know, I think that was my biggest takeaway.
How do forwards and wingers develop chemistry? It really seemed like when we're on the same page. Obviously, they played together a little bit growing up, and last year as well. But what's the secret when two guys get together like that? It just looks like they've been playing together for a long time.
Yeah, I thought they did a lot of really good things as well. I thought basically every shift they were out there, they had the puck, which was important. I think they complement each other really well. Musty's got some size, some strength, and Will's pretty shifty, right? Kind of possesses the puck, and so I think that's part of it. I think you need complementary players, and then I think from experience, right? Knowing where each other like to go, knowing each other's voices. That's kind of how that develops, I think.
What impression did you come out with Will Smith out of the camp? Because obviously he's now with the Sharks, and so does he look like he is ready for training camp and that next step of the NHL?
I think he's done a really nice job at this camp. I think he's put his best foot forward. He looks a little bit bigger to me. I haven't seen any data on that. That's just my eye test, but he looks a little more solid. So it's an exciting time for him.
John, with the way the season went last year, after seeing this development camp and the scrimmage, does this give you some excitement going into this season coming up?
It does, yeah. I think the whole organization feels that way. I think having this influx of players that are on their way here, depending on when they get here, that's up to them. But it's encouraging, as I said. And then I think, not to get off topic, but the guys that we've signed for the Barracuda, or could end up with the Barracuda, that's encouraging as well.
John Macklin obviously has a big decision here to make on his own. In what ways, in your time around him so far, in what ways has he seen beyond his 18 years of age, and then in what ways has he seen like he's a kid who just turned 18?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that he looks like a kid that he's 18. He's just with everything that's been thrown at him from the draft, like being at the draft and just seeing the wave of cameras following him all the time. He's mic'd up. He's, that's a lot for a kid that age. I think about myself at that age and dealing with something like that, and so he's handled it all very well. And I know you guys probably feel the same way. He's composed. He's mature for that age. So he's shown to be older than that age.
Looks like there's a lot of personalities, not necessarily just on the ice, but off the ice too. And there's always the notion that sometimes players are really, they don't have a lot of personality off the ice. Looks like it's kind of changing around here. I mean, there's guys, obviously, they brought in Jake Wallman, who talked to Macklin and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
What have you seen from their personalities off the ice? Just the way they go about themselves, being able to kind of open up a little bit more than just the generic answers with the media or whoever they're talking to.
Yeah, I think Todd Marchand and his staff have done a nice job putting them in situations where they can show their personalities, right? The first day's always awkward. It's just like the van rides are dead silent, the locker room's silent, everybody's on edge, everybody's nervous. I think the staff did a good job. We went to the Giants game, they had a cooking competition, doing things that kind of forced them out of their comfort zone a little bit, and everybody kind of warms up after that. And it's fun to see the guys outside the rink.
Obviously, there's no competition during any one of these camps, but just the different types of personalities on and off the ice, getting that to mesh is really important for a team to build and grow together. How encouraging is it to see that, especially off the ice, how important that is for guys like Warsofsky and thinking Ryan, he's talked about, I'm trying to get to know these guys off the ice. How important is that for a young team?
Yeah, it is. It's important for them to know that about each other too, right? For them to spend time, figure out who they are as people, what drives them, and I feel like that comes out through those type of activities, right? Those outside the rink, sometimes inside the rink, in the locker room, on bus rides, stuff like that. The more time that they spend together, I think the more that kind of comes forward.
On the ice, is there any one player that maybe stuck out to you that maybe wasn't one of the Smith, Musty, or something? Was there one guy, a couple guys that stuck out to you?
Took all the easy answers. I liked Edstrom. I thought Edstrom did some good stuff. Pole camp, I thought was good tonight. Obviously, I think he had the first
in the tire.
Yeah, and the tire. That's right. So I thought those guys, and then I thought the new goalie Kirsch. I thought he was pretty solid in there.
How do you evaluate goalies do you in a scrimmage like that?
Yeah, they kind of get hung out to dry a little bit. But I thought more how they approach it, you know, they get the bad end of the stick sometimes, but he seemed to be composed in there. And even in practice yesterday, we were doing that one-on-one drill, and he got popped like 2 or 3 times in a row, unintentionally, but got right back up, got right back in the net. You know, just the approach more than, you know, the technical side.
It looks like, you know, Corona and Romanov are sort of your tandem this year. Maybe he might add another goalie, but what do you want to see from those guys this season in terms of their growth, their second year with the organization?
Yeah, exactly that composure. I think, you know, teams play more confident in front of goalies that are emitting that confidence, you know, so I'd like to see that.
Getting back to Celebrini, it seemed like when that comeback started, he really seemed to thrive off that and maybe pick it up a notch. Is that kind of what you saw too? Just that competition really kind of came out?
Yeah, he wanted to score bad. He thought he did. What stuck out to me was he shoots the puck and he recovers the puck. He gets it back. You know, like his competitiveness on those battles was impressive, and that you can see why he was selected where he was and why he's had success. It's that competitive nature, I think. He was getting inside on guys bigger than him, stronger than him. He's able to maneuver those situations. I think he does that really well.
John, when you think back to your days when you were doing development camp for the Sharks, did you see any similarities this time around with some of the players and the way that they bonded with each other?
It was a little different when I was doing it. We didn't have a scrimmage. It was 2 ice sessions a day. It was just a little bit different. But yeah, it is like everybody going to dinner together. I'm staying at the Hilton actually this week, and so I see the guys around the hotel and see who's hanging out with who. And you know, it's nice to see when you see, you know, maybe guys from a certain nationality hanging out with guys from a different, because the tendency is the Swedish guys will go with the Swedish guys, and you like to see those groups mix and match, and I've seen a little bit of that this week.
You have some guys who are going to be fighting for, you know, Barracuda spots like Halton and Cagnoni. How much you take out of this, or how, like, going into it, or how much you just kind of like let training camp decide?
Yeah, kind of the same answer as the goalie thing. It's not entirely fair to judge on performance here. I think a little bit, obviously,
Yeah.
Everyone's gonna do that, but I think it's more how do they carry themselves? Are they on time? Are they, you know, doing the things I'm talking about, going out to dinner with different people, including people in the group, leading the drills. They've been to a few of these now, you know, so that approach is more important to me than you know, the result, I guess.
Ozzy Weisblatt, to ask another Barracuda question, was traded. He seemed to have some success after the trade. I guess how would you profile how his last season went, and I guess how you hope to see him progress in the future?
Yeah, I wish him. I loved Ozzy. I thought he's a competitive kid. I've called him a few times, and you know, it was great that he got experience in the playoffs. You know, I thought that was great. Yeah, I mean, I hope he makes it. You know, he's a kid that wants to, and you know, I was happy to see him, you know, get an opportunity to do what he was able to do.
How would you profile his time here, interacting with him, coaching him, his performance on the ice with the CUDA?
Yeah, he was, like I said, he was competitive. You know, he's an undersized guy, obviously, but he was competitive. You know, every time he was in the lineup, he did whatever he could do to help the team win, and that's all you can ask of a kid.
And then one more, I guess, Joe Thornton being here this week, I guess, how nice is it to have him here for a guy like Celebrini, a guy like Smith, to mentor them, and yeah, I guess, what do you think of his coaching debut in North America?
Yeah, I thought he did well. I think, I think it is important for Macklin to have, you know, what Jumbo's obviously been through, what Macklin's going through right now. So for him to have that sounding board, or, you know, whether situations come up that are the same, or Jumbo can help him in ways like that, you know, nobody else really knows what it's like to go through that. So to have that relationship, I think, is going to be important.
Now going back to
We
Edstrom,
got Todd over here.
what was impressive about him? We don't know so much about him because obviously he was acquired late in the season.
Yeah, I just thought he was thorough. I thought he worked above pucks. I thought he tries to get inside on loose pucks. You know, not necessarily a flashy player, but a solid player, in my opinion. Almost plays like kind of a pro style, you know, which makes sense because he plays in the men's league. Like a pro style type of game, I thought.
And same question about Dickinson. What did you like about him today, or what did you think about him throughout camp?
Yeah, he's big body. coachable, good interactions, looks you in the eye when you're talking to him. Thought he showed a lot of upside. Exciting prospect.
Good.
Good.
Thanks, John.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Todd will be right in behind